neighbor and say, way to show up. I'm so excited to do this talk. I lost sleep last night. I was just so excited for it because, let's be honest, show of hands, who has just had like the perfect summer where everything you've eaten has been clean, all, you know what I mean, no cheat meals. You know, so I'm glad you guys are here taking time for your health. I know that the Ohio State Fair kicked off tonight. You guys are missing out on cotton candy, I know that, but I think you're going to learn something here that will change your life forever for the better, okay? So in getting into that, before I talk about anything with any type of functional steps to changing your lifestyle, we always have to start for the why behind that. Information does not change lives. You guys know that, right? Internet, you can be on the internet for 5 hours and learn everything about fluffy cats and Pokemon and politics and all those things, but if you don't have action steps or a big why to change your life, it's never going to happen. And so I started reading a new book, and so yes, I'm married, have a baby boy, but I have a new man crush, and I'm going to show you guys a picture of him. Anyone know who this is? His name is Jocko Willink. I'm going to say Jocko. Jocko. So, Jocko Willink, you don't know him, but he's had a huge impact in your life. Jocko Willink is a SEAL Team commander. He led SEAL Team Bruiser in the Operation Iraqi Freedom. And I'll summarize it. He wrote a book, and I recommend this book to all of you guys, anyone you care about, especially if you're a leader, if you have a family. It's called Extreme Ownership. And this book will change your life. I'm going to warn you, do not read this book unless you're ready to improve yourself, or else you'll feel really bad about yourself after reading it. And I'll sum it up for you in just a sentence. When you read the book, basically every chapter he reads some like war story from like World War I or Vietnam. Talks about just how gruesome it really is when you're in a fight for your life on the battlefield. So he talks about bullets flying by and people next to him getting shot and taken off. And then what that really does is it helps to put things in perspective for you. Like I think I've got a lot going on in my life and take care of a lot of people here, and I've got a newborn baby at home, and for you guys, we've got kids in school and we've got to run here and do that. But the great thing is, at least I'm not getting shot at. You know what I mean? So that's the good thing. And so the second thing he does is, after he reads a war story like that, he talks about how he helps people now. He goes into the business world and he helps leaders of large companies realize the problem. And the whole name of the book is Extreme Ownership. And so basically what it boils down to is, for anyone who comes to him with any problem, all that it boils down to, if they say, like, my team won't follow me, things aren't right at home, my job isn't going well, what have you, he says there's only two things that can cause that problem. Either you don't know what you're supposed to be doing, or you do, but it's your fault, basically. Like, if you're not a good enough leader to train your team or to help your family, like, you have to change yourself. So basically he takes away the idea that you can blame anyone else for your problems except for looking at yourself in the mirror. And so I've been reading it, and I'll tell you guys, I want you guys to write these things down, because these are the things that I've changed and realized since I started reading it. Number one, discipline equals freedom. So in his book, he talks about just the power of discipline. If your health isn't where you want it to be right now, if your marriage isn't where you want it to be, if your job isn't where you want it to be, the answer is you lack the discipline to have that in your life. You will get to a point where you cannot exist on your talent alone. You've got to put in some work, whether it's to be healthier, to make your marriage greater, to make your job greater, to make your life great. And so having that discipline does not equal confinement, it equals freedom. It's great to have the health that you want, that you can do whatever you want. It's great to know what your schedule is, so that if you have to schedule meetings, you know exactly what things are black and white, and you're never skipping out on anyone. So discipline equals freedom. Number two, it's going to change your mindset. And you have to change your mindset. So how do you guys feel like, who works out, just to show of hands? You guys have like a gym that you go to and you know it's going to be a really hard workout? Or like you got to go into work and you know it's going to be like a hard day? Mm-hmm. And so old me, I tend to drag my feet a little bit. I was like, I don't really want to go, maybe I'll just go a little bit lighter. What happens is when you're disciplined, your mindset totally flips around. You say, instead of, oh, this is going to be an awful workout, you're like, great, bring it on. Like, I will be here, I'll be the last person in the gym if I have to be, but I'm going to make sure that I get this work done properly. I'm going to do everything that it takes to better myself. So you look at things as not, flying in your face, but as a challenge to get better. And you go harder. So I thought it was kind of funny. He said, if you don't want to mow your grass outside, You just gotta overcome it. Mow your yard and your neighbor's yard and everyone else's around you, and you will be reborn hard to do whatever you don't want to do. The last thing is it'll change your mindset because you'll start saying to yourself, everything is good. Everything's good. So I don't drink coffee, but it's like, you go to Starbucks, they mess up your order. Great. I need to try something new today. And obviously work on my communication skills a bit. Coffee order. So great, everything's good. Someone at work complains about you, good. Life lesson. I learned something new. You know what I mean? Wife or husband's mad at you because you didn't make good on your promise, good. I need to be better. I need to be a better husband. I need to be a better leader. Something just happened in my life. And if you guys don't know about this, Dr. Ben Lerner, who's the co-founder and owner of Maximize Living, is stepping down from mentoring. And so he's my mentor and coach for 6 years. I grew up since I was like my second year in my doctorate program, and I used to go to his house and he mentored me. I literally did my laundry at his house. No longer mentoring me. Good. I need to step up and help others. That's the whole idea behind this, okay? Because if you don't make a change in your own life, all this information I'm going to give you, it's not going to last. You're going to be inspired for a day and say, great, and with no will behind that, you're not going to do anything long term. Because when you have will, when you have that inspiration to change your life, this is what's possible. Everyone give a hand for Brittany. So just to kind of show you guys what's possible, and this is not all about weight loss. This is about just health. Brittany came in March 9th. She took this picture the first day she came in because we started a challenge actually on that day. And she goes, I'm going to do this. I wasn't coming in here to lose weight or get healthier. She had sciatica and chronic menstrual problems. And she said, I'm going to just jump all in. And so she did. And she was really committed. Her mom had told her that, that the weight ran in her family and that, she'd never be as small as she was in high school and that she just needed to kind of get used to it. And lucky for her, she is hard of hearing, didn't hear that. And so she started applying everything. This is literally 3 months later, she lost 50 pounds. And that was June 11th. She's down about 10 more pounds since then, but I don't have an updated picture. So that's the whole thing that's possible, okay? I want you guys to take great information, have the mindset for success behind it. And really, at the end of the day, I want you to share this with other people too, because they all need help as well. All right? You guys ready to talk about hormones?
Yep.
All right.
Wait,
okay.
Wait. Can you spell his name, please?
Jocko, Jocko, space.
Thank you.
Willink. Willink. Okay? All right, so we've got the major players. Now, I know that there are a ton of hormones in your body. I'm not going to go through all of them. I'm going to go over the most important ones, arguably. There's about 50 hormones in your body. We're going to talk about the key players: estrogen, testosterone, your thyroid hormones, and cortisol. So if you're here tonight and you're worried about estrogen dominance, which has a huge impact in our modern world, it's because we have too much estrogen, especially in women. We have too much body fat. We have, in men and women, we have exposure to toxins. And oftentimes, one of the biggest problems that I see is we are just estrogen overloaded. So if you're worried about estrogen, have estrogen dominance issues, perimenopausal issues, we're going to talk about those tonight. And really work on giving you the solutions naturally to help balance your estrogen levels. The second thing is testosterone. And I see commercials for this all the time. Low T clinics, you guys heard of those? Mm-hmm. It's like they do injections of free testosterone. They look to boost your testosterone. It's somewhere between $300 and $600 a month, every single month, to get your testosterone levels up. But there's so many bodies of evidence that shows that the real problem with testosterone is estrogen. We have a lot of things in our life, toxicity, body weight issues that cause estrogen to go up, and estrogen causes testosterone to go down. So we're going to talk about how to raise your testosterone back to normal levels healthily, so you don't have to deal with those things. The next one is your thyroid hormone. I know in like the 80s and the 90s, hardly anyone had thyroid problems, but now it seems that, 6, 7, 8 out of my 10 patients have some type of thyroid problems, whether they have too much thyroid hormone, they have Graves' disease, whether they have too little thyroid hormone. Thyroid controls your energy hormones and your weight loss hormones. And when your body can't function properly, that will create a whole catalytic chain of events that lead to more issues. So we're going to talk about how to balance your thyroid hormone. And the last thing we're going to talk about is estrogen. Cortisol. I can't read. So what cortisol is your stress hormone. Who's heard of fight or flight before? A bear comes into the room, some of you guys are going to fight it, I'm going to run. Mm-hmm. So if you don't know how to control cortisol, if you have A fight or flight hormone, a stress response hormone that's just going haywire, is going to wreak havoc. Cortisol affects your immune system. It affects how well your body functions. It affects a lot of other hormones inside of your body. And so if we don't get these things right, I can give you a lot of other things, but hormones control literally every single thing inside of your body, okay? So let's start talking about estrogen dominance. These are some of the most common symptoms, at least I see, with estrogen dominance: irritability, anxiety, hot flashes, insomnia, weight gain, migraines, depression. You know, when I call these symptoms, I think I'm probably talking to, I don't know, maybe 50% of the room. But here's the thing. So there are parts in the world where they don't actually talk about menopause as a disease process or a problem process. Like, they don't even have a name for all of these things that go along with it. And so what are we doing that are causing these, so that, you know, when we go through menopause or when we have these estrogen problems, we actually feel more like a disease process going through menopause than just a natural progression of life. So here's the biggest problem with it. There's two hormones that are antagonists to each other. I've talked about estrogen before. There's another hormone called progesterone. Okay, if you're thinking about it inside of your body, estrogen is like the gas pedal. Progesterone is like the brake pedal. So they should be able to work in coalition with one another. Well, as you age naturally, your estrogen and progesterone levels naturally start to decline. The problem is, because of toxins and phytoestrogens and xenoestrogens and chemicals in our environment, as estrogen and progesterone are lowering, those things actually push your estrogen levels way back up. So the imbalance in the hormones is what actually causes these problems. That's what keeps estrogen high. And the problem is, long term, it can lead to increased rates of breast and uterine cancer or cysts, gallbladder problems, thyroid problems, yeast overgrowth, osteoporosis. And so the problem is we have all of these things. And so what does our current society do to deal with these issues, for the most part? We take medications for it. And so we never really look at the actual cause, because how's that working, honestly? It's not working well. And so the way we need to look at it is we need to get a different model. We need to look at the cause of the actual problem. Your body is not like a car. It's not a coalition of pieces, and if one of them breaks, we can just take it out and give you a new one. That's not the way our body works, okay? We are more than the sum of our parts. And so what's the difference between, if I have a dead person laying right here, and I have a near dead person laying right here, and I cut both of them, what's the difference between the two of them? One heals, right? One starts healing, one has that force, that innate force, that life force inside of it, and one doesn't. So there's something that we have to honor when it comes to the body, that we're more than just a mechanistic model. We have a vitalistic model that if we don't give our body what it needs, it can never function properly, okay? And so when I talk about that, what I talk about is everything that you're doing in your life does not lead to disease process. As doctors, we should never really be treating your disease process. We should be treating the things that you're doing that cause dis-ease. Write that down, dis-ease. So what's the difference? What's the difference between dis-ease and disease? You guys ever heard of those two? What's the difference?
The way it's pronounced.
The way there's a dash in the middle. So dis-ease is not disease, but dis-ease is what leads to disease. Dis-ease is when I don't eat the things that I'm supposed to, when I'm constantly eating out. I'll talk about one of the biggest problems that I see, the food choices we make, is we receive way too much food through a window. That causes a lot of problems. So dis-ease leads to disease process over time. I don't care what they call the disease process. I care about the things you're doing that cause that problem in the first place. Because if we correct and repair those, your body's going to function normally, okay? You were made to be great, not made to have all these problems. And so that's one of the biggest problems we see. And really, we've come a long way in medicine in the last 100 years. 100 plus years ago, we talked about, doing like lobotomies on people and cutting, parts of their brain out and things like that. But even as recently as a decade ago, we started using hormone replacement therapy. And one of the most common forms of hormone replacement therapy, especially in women, was something called Premarin. Who's seen the video that's played like 30 times and they talk about Premarin? What does Premarin stand for? What is it? It's pregnant mare's urine. And it's I'll tell you what, it's very good at raising estrogen inside of your body, but the problem is that too much free estrogen is a problem. No different than too low of estrogen is a problem. So when we raise one hormone, we can't just raise one hormone in our body and have it affect one thing. What does it affect? It affects everything, and so those cause more problems. The single largest reduction in breast cancer over a year-to-year basis was when they stopped HRT, specifically proline. And so the answer is what's causing that actual estrogen dominance in the first place. Let's just work on removing that. Does that make sense? Right? Mm-hmm. So the first thing we'll talk about is xenoestrogens. Okay, these are the main causes. Xenoestrogens are estrogen mimicking compounds that you'll find in your lifestyle. Okay, let me go over a couple of the sources of them for you. The first one is coffee. Coffee has a lot of xenoestrogens or phytoestrogens in it. In fact, the what's it called? Aluminum cans are filled with xenoestrogens. These are estrogen mimicking compounds. And so typically in your body, you have a normal amount of estrogen that's floating around. What xenoestrogens are is there's something that looks like an estrogen. They go onto the cell and they actually raise your body's free estrogen levels instead of just having the normal amounts of estrogen through there. So these are the different sources and causes through here. I talked about coffee. So anything really that is made with pesticides. So if you're eating inorganic produce or vegetables, or like I said, if you're eating things that come through your window at a drive-through, if they have pesticides on them, pesticides contain xenoestrogens or estrogen mimicking compounds. Perfumes, polyphenols, a lot of the personal hygiene and household products that we put on our skin, those contain xenoestrogens. So those are raising our free estrogen levels. If you guys want a really good resource for that, I'll tell you just now. If none of you have been there yet, EWGorg is a great website where if you haven't started looking into the underlying cause of these things, they independently verify and certify 80,000 different home, household, personal hygiene, and cleaning products. So you can start looking at things that contain xenoestrogens. The next things are phthalates. You guys, who has like plastic Tupperware at home? I'm okay with you having it, just don't use it, okay? Especially don't use it to store food, or especially don't use it to heat food. So phthalates are found in plastics, and a lot of plastics now, typically the advertising is everywhere, and you guys have heard that BPA is something that's very bad for you. Well, the problem is anything that is actually plastic, to make it a plastic, it has phthalates in it. And when you spend time either storing those or heating them or putting hot liquids in them, it leaches. And so you end up drinking those phthalates, those toxins that are estrogen mimickers inside the body. One of the reasons that candles are so expensive, the ones that are made with real wax, they're like $15, $20 a candle. You guys know the ones I'm talking about? Yeah. I thought we all need to like join hands and have like a charity for candles. The reason why is because the really cheap ones people aren't buying them also, but they're used with very, very cheap products and plastic. So instead of it being like just regular paraffin wax, they're putting all these other chemicals and compounds. And they're showing that people are having these problems from just having bad candles in their home. So when it comes down to it, the disheartening thing is these things are everywhere. Parabens are also found in lotions. BPA, like I was talking about, it's found in aluminum cans. Campbell's Soup was one of the first companies that came out a few years ago and said we no longer line the insides of our can with BPA. But for a long time there was a recall on tomatoes because the inner lining of the can was filled with BPA, and the acidity in the tomatoes caused all of that to leach out, and people were getting sick from that. So those are things you've got to be aware of. New furniture, plastics, those are all of your exogenous or outside sources of estrogen. So let's talk about inside sources of estrogen. What happens inside of my body that causes estrogen levels to go up? Inside of your fat cells, if you have too many adipose tissues inside of your body, or your body habitus, your weight is not where you want it to be, fat cells actually perform a function called aromatization, which converts testosterone into estrogen. It's a big issue, right? Yeah. Huge issue. So the problem is this, you got to think about it this way. Too much estrogen leads to increased cortisol, which leads to increased body fat deposition. And so do you see how this can create this horrible feedback loop where you feel like you're stuck, and it's like no matter what I do, I can't change, I can't improve, I can't get my weight to where I want it to be. The problem is we've got to work on breaking the cycle, because as long as you keep doing the same things, you're going to get the same exact results, okay? So the more body fat you have, the more that your body tips the balance towards estrogen, brings it away from testosterone. A couple other internal sources of low testosterone or high estrogen, vitamin D deficiency, which is we're chronically deficient in especially Ohio, and especially with the 21st century, because who has a job where they work outside? 1, 2, 3, 4 out of, that's like 50 of us in here, something like that.
I have 5 monitors on my desk, does that count?
That is not sunlight. It might be bright enough that you think it's sunlight. I wish you could get vitamin D for that. Vitamin D deficiency, chronic magnesium deficiency has been linked to low testosterone, high estrogen. I'll talk about a couple other nutritional deficiencies as well. And so some of the other things that will cause your testosterone to get low, or the effects of it, is it'll give you fatigue. Chronically low testosterone gives you low sex drive. Muscle weakness, your muscles thrive on testosterone for strength. Depression, sleep disturbances. So the solution is we've got to work on getting rid of those fat cells once and for good. And I'll teach you guys how to do that a little bit later. Okay, let's talk about the adrenal glands. I'm giving you all the solutions at the end. We're just going through the problems now. The adrenal glands, these are little glands that sit on top of your kidneys. They produce cortisol and other stress hormones as well. And so when stress goes up, your cortisol goes up. That's the way that your body actually reacts to stress. The problem that we have now is the stress that we have doesn't what? You guys are reading my slides. So yeah, the stress doesn't go away. And so when we have this chronically high stress, we have chronically high cortisol. And I'll walk through what cortisol actually does. I've got a whole thing that goes through all the effects that cortisol has on your body. But the problem is this, is we have this fight or flight response. Anytime that you have stress in your life, I want you to allude to the same thing I talked about earlier. A bear comes into the clinic. That's the same way that we all deal with stress. So whether you're stressing out about your kids having to get somewhere, or a deadline at work, or you've got to get a project done for yourself, your body handles stress the same exact way every single time. Cortisol goes up, that has to happen. Inflammation goes up because all of your blood in your body is running to your skeletal muscles. So the reason that if you're chronically stressed out, you feel tension and tightness through your muscles and your shoulders, and you feel like all those irritations and stiff, is because your body's intelligent and saying, all right, where's the bear? We're running. You know what I mean? The problem is when that doesn't go down, the long-term effects of it. The same effects that cortisol has on your blood in doing that, it shuts down all of your internal organs. Do you think you need to digest your hamburger while you're running from a bear? Not important. Cell-mediated immunity goes down. You do not need to be healing from anything while you're running for your life. All of your energy is diverted towards that. Your blood pressure goes up, your cholesterol goes up, your immune system goes down, your digestive system goes down. That sound like just a recipe for chronic disease process and constant sickness? And we deal with that day in, day out. The bear never goes away. And so whatever it is, it's the traffic, it's I-270. I hear it's rough for you guys. I don't drive it ever because I'm just sitting in my office. But financial problems, stress at work, all of those things. And so we'll go over how to get those corrected. This is where the adrenals are. They sit right on top of your kidneys through there. And when you have these chronic problems, this chronic stress overload, the first thing that your body will have is something called adrenal fatigue. You guys ever heard of that before? The same feeling that they call with adrenal fatigue is something called wired and tired. That's where you wake up in the morning, you feel tired. By 1 or 2 p.m., you're crashing. Like, I'm taping my eyes awake to stay at my desk, and then come like 11 or midnight, I can't go to sleep. That's the wired and tired feeling. So that's, if you feel that, if you have that low energy and then all of a sudden your brain can't shut off, that's adrenal fatigue. That's like your body's first step of adaptation. Your body will never stop trying to adapt. Your body will never stop trying to run from the bear because your body is wired for survival. But eventually you will have adrenal burnout if you're chronically stressed. You don't get to the root cause, you don't correct it, you will burn out. It looks like this. It's where there's no more wired and tired feeling. There's just like a, please help me through my day. Like you need an IV of coffee to make it through your day. That is adrenal burnout. And so we got to work on correcting that as well. Last thing we'll talk about is your thyroid. Too little thyroid hormone, which is more common, causes these problems. It causes fatigue, increased sensitivity to cold, weight gain. It can leave you with a puffy face, thinning hair, depression. It can mess with your memory. You can have too much as well, which is B.J. Palmer. And really, what B.J. Palmer said was, we only have 2 causes for disease inside of the body. There's only 2 things that cause disease. Either you're deficient in something your body needs, or you're toxic in something that your body can't get out of you. Only 2 causes, toxicity and deficiency. So we need to get to the cause, and the cool thing about all hormone problems is they share the same common origin. And the solutions I'm going to give to you is in something that will be simple to remember. It's called the 4 S's, okay? So we're going to work on eliminating 3 things and then adding in a 4th, okay? So we're going to work on eliminating the stimulants, the stress, subluxations, those are chronic spinal irritations, neurospinal problems, and then adding in the right supplements, getting your body the right things that it needs, okay? First thing is stimulants. I'm sorry.
Excuse me.
Yes, go ahead, sorry. Am I too fast?
I'm not that fast.
That's okay.
Unless you
Let
can
me
give us
know.
a PowerPoint presentation.
No. That could is just huge. Your hard drive.
Just give me 2 minutes or less and I should be done.
I'm not done either.
You're totally fine. If I'm going too fast for you, I'm going too fast for a lot of different people.
I'm cheating camera phone.
What? Oh, it's fine. I'm recording it too. I'm actually putting it on live
Well,
for you.
it's like I just take a picture of all the slides.
Yeah, we're recording on video, so we'll put it on our Facebook channel. We a lot of people are on vacation. It's their fault. They should just be here. It's okay. It's gonna go on sale tomorrow, $99.99. We're doing 5 easy monthly payments. Is everybody caught up?
Yes.
Okay, and we're gonna go over them like you're not gonna miss them. They're gonna be the next. That's all we're gonna talk about today. So the first thing, stimulants. Stimulants, especially caffeine, they hijack your hormones. Every time that, am I hitting some nerves right now?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
6 times.
I know.
Wow.
Okay, so this is what happens when you have a chronic stimulant. Okay, it's like an adrenaline boost to your system. But the problem is your V8 is running on 4 cylinders and you're adding NOS to the engine. So you guys know what NOS is? You know, Fast and the Furious. It's like the purple thing that shoots in and makes your car explode. I don't know cars. That's what it is. It makes it go really fast. You guys are with me. So that's what caffeine does when you put it in your body. It gives you this big adrenaline hit when you need a surge. But the problem is that surge fades away and it leads you into need of getting another boost. And the problem is we're just whipping and we're whipping our adrenal glands relentlessly. I'm sorry. We drink so much coffee in America, so much by far. I think that more people get coffee on Sunday morning than go to church. It's sad. Like the lines are insane. Luckily I don't drink coffee, so I feel like no remorse with this. Like I have no empathy. I hated the taste, and I've always hated the taste. So every time there's like slides on coffee, I'm like, I can't wait. Because if I'm tired, I'm just tired. I just deal with it. I can't drink coffee. Yes.
Can we use coffee as an air freshener? That causes
I don't have a problem with that.
It smells great. I just make sure that doesn't cause an estrogen problem.
No, it doesn't. The scent, I don't believe causes any issues, at least not from what I've found. But you can look.
Okay.
Let me know what you find.
It's
Okay.
coffee bag. Instead of the can. You said the can releases
The BPA. What's the plastic bag made out of?
or paper.
Paper, maybe. It doesn't matter as much. So, and I'm not saying, what I'm not saying is this, is that you have to give up coffee forever and you can't have it. But if you're addicted to coffee, it's a huge sign that you need to get off of it for a while. I don't mind you having a cup of coffee every once in a while. And also, a big thing is the source of the coffee. So if you're getting this conventionally grown coffee that's constantly sprayed with pesticides, not only are you getting the effects of caffeine, which caffeine has been shown to increase estrogen and cortisol levels, especially if you're taking it in high supply, it disrupts your thyroid hormone production. And so you've got to get off of that and reduce it. And what we're talking about today is how to reset your hormones, okay? So there's some good things. By the way, if you get off of coffee, expect a withdrawal period. Don't do it on a Monday. Tuesday is bad too. Do it on a
It
weekend.
doesn't bother me to drink it or not. I mean,
Well, you're
I
probably
can
not
go
addicted
without
to
it
it
for
then. That's why.
fun.
If your heart didn't drop when I
I
said
drink that
coffee.
Yeah.
Well, Bulletproof or brands like that are actually organic coffee, so they don't have as much effect on your estrogen levels. They're not filtered with anything else that mimics estrogen as well on top of it. But there's a lot of other things you can actually have, especially if you're like weaning yourself off of relying on caffeine. Tea, you've got black tea, green tea. Green teas have something inside of them called L-theanine. So while green tea still has caffeine in it, the L-theanine kind of evens out the rate of caffeine, so it's not such a jolt to your system, okay? And then some of the worst things as far as stimulants are concerned is like Red Bull, things like that. Oh my gosh.
What about red tea?
What about red tea is fine. Yeah, it's just you want to get like the caffeine to a lower sustained level, especially if you're relying on it to get through the day.
I think those Red Bulls should be outlawed.
Well, that's why, because not only do they contain sugar, but anything that contains a ton of sugar and caffeine like that, I mean, it absolutely wrecks you. The important thing to know about sugar as far as how it affects hormones is it lowers something inside of your body called SBGH, or SHBG, sex hormone binding globulin. Sex hormone binding globulin basically is a blood scavenger. It goes around, and any extra estrogen inside of your body, it'll bind that, and you'll eliminate it out of your body. Well, tons of sugar will lower that, so you'll have more levels of estrogen inside of your body. That also leads to insulin resistance, which increases fat cells, produces more estrogen and inflammation, and we go right back down that road, okay? As much as a teaspoon of sugar, so they've measured this, as much as a teaspoon of sugar, like first thing in the morning, and guys, it can lower your testosterone levels by 30%.
Ooh, wow.
So for like the next few hours through there. So when people talk to me about, I get up and I've got this and I'm ready to go into the day, I'm like, you're not. And then in women, so women who are actually going through PMS, they eat, you guys won't believe this number, 275% more sugar than someone who doesn't.
I'll call myself
So
out.
this is it. So actually, so I said sugar causes more crazy highs and lows in women, because women who, in a research study, when women are going through PMS, they eat on average 275% more sugar than they do when they're not on it. So the problem is this: is it the actual PMS that's causing the problem, or is it the fact that we're eating nearly 3 times the sugar that we normally eat? You know what I mean? It's yeah. And a lot of people, they tell me, they say, well, I don't eat sugar. And so we look at it this way. We kind of go down the list and we say,
White bread.
Yeah,
grains.
these are just the liquids. I don't even have time to go over all of those. We say we have water, and then we just go down this slippery slope. We go, well, I'm gonna have coconut water, and I think coconuts are great, but again, it's about reducing as much sugar as possible. So just a small thing of coconut water on average has 15 grams of sugar. Your goal should be, especially if you're doing the advanced plan, which that's my challenge for all of you guys for the next 4 weeks, your non-fibrous carbohydrates. Fibrous carbohydrates are like vegetables, low glycemic index fruits. So your non-fibrous carbohydrates, your pure sugars, should be under 40 to 50 grams a day. Would be a good goal. Those are like your just free sugars. Should be way under that. Okay. So we say, I'm gonna have coconut. I'm gonna have coconut water. It's 15 grams. Honest green tea, which is sweetened, is 19 grams of sugar. A little thing of chocolate milk for my kid is 22 grams of sugar for 8 ounces of chocolate milk. That's the same by weight as a Coke. Organic apple juice, it's organic. Little 6-ounce container, 26 grams of sugar. 12-ounce, or this is 8-ounce Coca-Cola, 28 grams of sugar. The Simply,
juice is almost equivalent to the Coke.
yeah. And they take all the fiber out of the juice, and it's all sugar. Simply lemonade, the Simply brand, it's either Coca-Cola or owned by Pepsi.
Yeah, they're not good
It's one of the
brands.
two. 37 grams of sugar in a 15.2 ounce bottle. Of that, you've got a small can of Red Bull is 39 grams. And naked, because we gotta have our smoothies, 53 grams of sugar in the average naked smoothie that's in 2 cans of Coke.
That's another not good brand.
I know. Naked is owned by Pepsi,
Yeah.
by Pepsi Company.
They try
And so-
to just act like they're so healthy.
That's the problem. Is we want to get healthier, and then there's food marketing and advertising that just totally throws us off base. And so there's a couple really simple fixes you can do for this. If you don't like drinking water, you want a sweet fix. You guys hopefully have heard of Zevia before ever. It's a soda that's sweetened with stevia. That's a great alternative. LaCroix has sparkling waters. Those are great as well. You can add a couple drops of stevia to it, of liquid stevia. Or you can use Swerve as another sweetener. You can find that in Whole Foods. That has erythritol and Swerve. It has erythritol and oligosaccharides in it, and all of those things are not sugar. They don't raise your glycemic index, but they're safe in moderation to eat, and you can make a really healthy drink that has the fun stuff that doesn't have all the sugar in it. Good question.
So what I typically do, and I just want to make sure that's okay, is I'll put like a half an orange, a half a lemon, a couple of mint leaves, and a cucumber in my water, and let that sit, and then drink that.
It's fine.
Okay.
Yep, no problem with that. Unless you're on the advanced plan, then I have a problem with the orange, but other than that, we're
Okay.
splitting hairs. So,
Okay.
but I'll go through with you guys with this. So this is, I'm planning on this being the most comprehensive like month of challenge we've ever had. We've done a lot of challenges before, but who doesn't have a thick packet in front of them? Anybody? Everybody's got one? You don't have one? Too late. So what I want to go over with you guys is the hormone reboot eating plan. So there's a couple things I want you guys really to focus on with this. First and foremost, obviously, is eliminating the sugar and caffeine. In order to decrease inflammation and balance your hormones, you've got to get rid of those things. The last thing to remove is the rancid or the damaged fats. The canola oil, the vegetable oil, the corn oils, the soy oil, soybean oil especially. Soy in America is consumed in huge supply. Thank you. It is almost all genetically modified, and soy, yes, soy is an estrogen mimicking hormone inside the body. So it will raise your free estrogen levels. So those are all the rancid fats that you want to work on reducing or getting rid of. Things to work on increasing more of is healthy fats, like coconut oil, avocado oil, pumpkin and sesame seeds are great as far as increasing, especially in guys, testosterone production.
What about grapeseed oil?
Grapeseed oil is not on the list because there's been problems with like the quality of grapeseed oil in America specifically.
If you buy an organic?
If you're buying organic, it's better, but I've seen a lot of issues with it. And so
I just say because it has a high,
it has a high smoke point, but so does avocado oil.
oh.
So avocado oil has a smoke point of 570. It's the highest of all the oils.
Well, that would be fine.
Yeah. So I used to talk about grapeseed oil being healthy, and they've
Well, I think it's in
there's been like
the
complaints about it.
veganese.
And pardon?
Isn't it in the veganese that
It is.
they make
Yeah.
one with the?
I'm not saying it's the worst, but I'm not saying it's the best. So it's in between. If you're not having veganase, go with coconut or avocado. Or if you're not cooking, extra virgin olive oil is fine. Okay.
What about olive oil?
Olive oil is fine. The problem with olive oil is olive oil has a low smoke point. So the smoke point of olive oil is around 300, 325 degrees Fahrenheit. And so if you're cooking, like a thick piece of chicken on medium heat, you're going to end up smoking the oil. And so a smoked oil does not fare well inside of the body. Anything that's smoked produces something called AGEs. They're advanced glycation end products. And those basically increase the rate at which your body ages. It increases oxidation into your body. So you want to work on lowering those as much as possible. So olive oil is great, just don't cook with it, or if you are cooking with it, just make sure it's on low heat. Yep.
What about red palm oil?
Red palm oil. I honestly believe that's a fine oil, so it's hard to find. It's like, where do you find it?
At Kroger,
Oh,
in
no
their
way.
natural section, all
I'm
the
sorry.
time.
Yeah, it's hard to find. I don't see it very often.
Red palm oil.
Yeah, there's none. Where do you go to Kroger? Must drive 100 miles. Avocados, organic eggs, cruciferous vegetables. So, really cool thing about cruciferous vegetables, those are broccoli, kale, cabbage, bok choy, collard greens, cauliflower. They have a compound inside of them called, you don't even know the name, but it's indole 3-carbinol. That helps promote the production of less estrogen inside of your body. And it also, 3 to 5 servings of deep cruciferous vegetables on a weekly basis, if you have a minimum of 5, it's been shown to lower cancer risk by 60%. It's insanely healthy for you. It also has something inside of it called DIM, that's di-indoylmethane, that helps promote estrogen metabolism in your body. That's found in cruciferous vegetables and in avocados. Eggs, like healthy eggs, again, are organic. Any of your animal products are organic. If you guys, the full list is in your blue book, the cruise ship or nursing home book. That's where we're doing the challenge from. So if you're a patient, you should have the book, and you should know how to go through everything. We're also, so I'm not spending a lot of time talking about food in here, The reason why is because I can go over it for like an hour. So what we're going to do is on Saturday, this Saturday, we're going to do a shop with a doc, a grocery store tour. Okay, so on the front page that you guys have here, on the back of this, you guys all see this page right here? It says all the events that we have coming up. Okay, so the one thing it does not have on it actually is the shop with the doc grocery store tour, because that is in July and this is only for August. So what we'll do, can we pass it around? When we do a grocery store tour, we have limited space available. I've taken 40 people through a grocery store before. It's not fun for anyone, and no one can hear me. And so Aaron and I are going to do it on Saturday at 11:30 a.m. If you know this is a weak point, if you've been on one before and still aren't doing things right, if you have questions on it, sign up for the grocery store tour here so we know how many people to expect. We typically cap it at about 25 or 30. So only put your name down to come if you really want to go and be there. It'll be about an hour and a half long grocery store tour. Okay? All right. So next up, I want to talk about like peace management. Okay? Dr. Lerner, who's my mentor, in his original book that he wrote, it was called Body by God. He had 10 testaments for peace management in your body, and number one is thou shalt be resultless. So what is thou shalt be resultless? It says, you know, it's better that you go 1 for 20 than to go 0 for 0. It's better to try and fail than to never try at all. But one of the biggest problems we have with this is you take a Major League Baseball player, and like Babe Ruth, for example, he's very famous for hitting a ton of home runs, but while he was in the league, he also led the league in strikeouts. You guys know that?
Yeah.
So he had more success, but also more failure than everyone else. But it was because he was trying more than anyone else. You can take a baseball player who strikes out 7 out of 10 times throughout the plate, meaning they only get a hit 3 out of 10 times. What does that make them? A Hall of Famer. And we strike out, we don't get our way 3 out of 10 times, and all of a sudden we feel defeated and failed. So thou shalt be resultless is not saying that you never try or do anything. It means you try it, but you're not attached to the results, especially when you're learning something new. So we're talking about challenging you for 4 weeks to eat a whole new lifestyle if you've never done the advanced plan before, which is focusing on changing all those foods and getting rid of sugar. So the last thing you want to do is the first time that you're attempting to do something, be bound to the results. If we got worried about failure when we were trying something, we would literally develop a learning disability. We would never try anything new because we're so afraid to fail. You're supposed to fail when you try things for the first time. So being resultless means it doesn't matter what the consequences are for trying, just get used to falling on your face and getting back up again. If you look at anyone who's successful in life, whether it's the Olympic athletes that we take care of, entrepreneurs, successful people, they don't spend their time thinking about what happens if they fail. They spend all of their time focusing on what happens if I succeed, what happens if I do everything right and everything perfectly and I actually succeed. So that's where your mindset needs to be focused. Yeah, you're going to fall along the way. What happens if you cheat while you're on the advanced plan? What do? You give up?
Get back on
You
it.
just get right back on it. Everyone goes, I cheated. Do I just start like in 4 weeks from now? I was like, am I out? No, you're not out. Like, get back on it. Like they just think it's like I cheated once, I'm out of the game now. No, it's remember life and health is a marathon, not a race. There's no finish line to this. It's all about just getting yourself healthier. Essential 2, thou shalt be timeless. And really, when I talk about it, if you think that you're out of time or constantly running out of time, you're probably right. It seems that we're so stressed out all the time. And the biggest problem now is the things that we think we're using in our life that are saving us time, we're actually taking more of it away because we're not aware of it. I will use cell phones as like the key example. Great, we can call a friend, we can go somewhere, but now we spend hours and hours on our cell phones. And what we tend to do in life is this: we're so focused on what technology has done is made us so focused on the future. Like, what am I going to do tomorrow? What am I going to go do later tonight? All those things. We start losing our ability to focus and enjoy the present. And really, that's what it is. The present is a gift. So you should enjoy the now. Stop focusing so much on the future and everything in the future. Just enjoy the now. When you focus on those things in the past, you miss all the great things that are going on around you. And so one thing I recommend, if you're writing stuff down, is quarterly do a purge. So anytime I go to a talk or a seminar, typically some speaker will talk about that, and they'll say, what's holding you back? if time's the most important thing, what do you find yourself doing 2-3 hours a day that's totally wasting your time and not helping you at all? And I'll be candid, for me, it's sports. I read more sports than anyone. And it's not just so I can talk to like a couple more patients who like sports, but I'll read sports for like 3 hours. Like I'm in trade rumors and all this stuff. And my wife comes over to me and she's like, you know, are you married to me or LeBron? I don't have to decide, do I? So I went into my phone and all my apps, I deleted Facebook and all of my sports apps and they're done. And so anything like that you find is like, you know, supposed to save you time, but taking all of your time, get rid of it, especially if it's not moving you forward in your relationship or your religion or your faith or your health. Just get rid of it. It's not worth it. Last thing, thou shalt be hateless. If you have problems with anger or anything like that in your life, I had an experience yesterday where I went and bought a computer from a guy and I just about like killed him. I bought it online. I went to his house to pick it up and he raised the price on me, like when I got there.
Wow.
And I was like, you gotta be kidding me. And he was like, that's what I'm doing. And I was like, and time for me is I don't have a lot of spare time. So I'm like, it's only $5, but I need it. So I'm not gonna drive an hour when I could just, I'm venting, but I'm not gonna drive an hour when I could just give you $5 more. And I couldn't find $5. And yeah, it almost got bad. But anyway, so thou shalt be hateless. So if you have problems with that, take a piece of paper and write down all the times that that someone wronged you or did that. Someone tried to rip you off on a computer. It doesn't happen often. Someone cut you off. You know what I mean? All those different things. Take the other half and write all the times that you accidentally messed up and did something that you didn't intend. And you'll find out that oftentimes you're just as at fault as everyone else. We tend to judge other people by their actions and ourselves by our intentions. And a lot of times when we have great intentions, you know what I mean? Well, I didn't mean to do that. Well, you did it. I didn't mean to. It doesn't look like that to other people. So oftentimes we're just as in the wrong as other people that are around us. So that is the thou shalt be hateless rule. Okay? Next thing we'll talk about, the third S is subluxation. And what I'm talking about the endocrine system, but really what's more important than thinking about it is just this conglomerate of different organs inside of your body that secrete hormones. They're all connected by your nervous system. So it's really your neuroendocrine system. And that's the most important essential we teach because that's what we can do here that no one else can do. People have great nutrition protocols and exercise protocols. But if you miss this essential, nothing else matters because you're not getting back to 100%. And so this is just a research study that talks about individuals with chronic whiplash. HPA is what they talk about, and what HPA is how your hypothalamus communicates with your pituitary gland, communicates with your adrenal glands. That's called your hypothalamic pituitary adrenal axis, and that's what controls your stress hormone and cortisol. And so what they found was that people who had chronic whiplash injuries, and they also associated with people who have text neck and who sit at a desk. Yes.
Could somebody shut that phone off? I haven't heard you for like 5 minutes.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is, but
Yeah. Everybody good? Okay. So hypothalamic pituitary adrenal axis. So what they're showing is people who have chronic stress or damage in their spine. What does it affect when your spine should normally look like this? Nice healthy curve and looks like this. What does that affect?
Everything.
Everything. I put this up because like people always ask me, and so I put up this little chart for you guys. This will be like sitting when you're adjusted. If you want to take a picture of it, but these are like all the effects that subluxation, chronic misalignment of the spine, chronic forward head posture will cause to your body. It's not just that the spine shifts out of place. I can care less about your spine. It's when your body's nervous system is affected, but that shuts everything else down through there. And so there's no way to chronically damage your spine doing the things we're doing. Looking down, head shift to the side, we're staring at a computer. I asked how many people worked outside, and that was like 5. So all the rest of us, I'm guessing you have a job that involves a computer.
Yes.
Some way, shape, or form. And so that's the chronic difference between there. So when you have these chronic stressors, the cortisol levels go up. That's why I tell people you can eat healthy, you can exercise, do all these things, but if you're leaving the same damage in your nervous system, your body sees that as a stress day in, day out, chronically. And so you've got to work on fixing the underlying cause of this through here, okay? That's kind of the difference if you're looking at the spinal cord on the inside. So normally speaking, there should be a healthy arc or curvature through your neck, and when you straighten that out, it damages the nerves that come out through there. Your body can't function properly. I'll show you guys just a cool thing. No, it doesn't work. Everything's broken. So this is Anne. Anne could not be here tonight. She was so excited to see this, but she's been here for 4 months now, and you guys can see what's the difference between the one on the left and the one on the right.
She has a curve.
Yeah, no curve on the left, way better curve on the right.
That's not the same person, is it?
Yeah. Look at all the dentures, see the things in the teeth.
Oh, that's her.
You can't.
It just looks like a totally different thing.
Yeah. Well, she's lost 35 pounds.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So Anne came in, and when she first came in here, she was a bus driver. She was actually a school bus driver for special needs children. And if you want to talk about a stressful job, I've never seen someone with a more stressful job. She'd come in and I'd be like, "How was your day?" And she was like, "Well, it wasn't that bad. I only got hit by one shoe." And I was like, "What?" And she's like, "Yeah, they throw shoes and I get hit and kicked and screamed, and they mean well, but I take a beating in my life." She was chronically depressed when she first came in, 30 pounds overweight, hated the job that she was in, a chronic stress. And as a result of sitting 8 hours a day, driving a school bus, her spine was totally straight, causing all those stress and issues through there. And so by working on her, we got her posture to come up. Before we even started on the diet with her, she'd already lost 10 pounds because we reduced all that cortisol in her body. Started applying the essentials. She did the advanced plan for 90 days. For some of you guys, we can't make it like 2 weeks. She was totally committed. 90 days, she lost 35 pounds. She's off of all of her medications, including her antidepressant medication. She's lost 35 pounds. She quit her job. And now she has a better job with way less stress. So she's like a security guard now where nothing ever happens. She doesn't get shot at least. So that's great. So what are the warning signs of chronic? So who's had your spine checked before? All my patients? Yeah. So who's never had their spine checked before? Never ever? Maybe once? Just a couple people? Okay. So what are the common problems with chronic damage or subluxation? And a lot of these things are things you would not associate with having a spinal issue. People come in and they go, "Gosh, I've never had back pain." You know what I mean? I hear that all the time. And it's so much more than that. Chronic stress in the upper part of your neck leads to headaches, chronic problems also in your neck, especially if you've lost the integrity of that curve. A lot of people don't realize it'll raise your blood pressure because of the amount of stress it puts on your body, 18 to 20 points. They show that an adjustment to your neck is more powerful than 2 blood pressure medications used in combination. So the amount of stress lowering effect it has on your body. Chronic depression, the top 4 bones in your neck, those are neuropeptide receptor docking stations. It's a fancy term for those are where your body actually produces endorphins based on movement. And so if you're sitting at a computer all day with your head still, do you think your body's creating a lot of endorphins? Do you think it's easy to have a bad day all the time?
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. Acid reflux, same nerves that are damaged in the lower part of your neck control your vagus nerve. They control everything from respiration to breathing to digestion to your immune system. If you damage that, it's going to cause chronic problems through there. And then you have the normal things that people feel, the chronic stress through your neck or upper back or shoulders, or the numbness and tingling in your fingers. The same damage that causes those things is the same one that goes all the way up to your fingers, controls your heart, and controls your lungs. And so when I talk about getting adjusted, it's not just so I can come in here and make you guys feel great, it's so we can make you function well for a lifetime. Okay? That's the whole goal behind it. So for those of you guys who raised your hand, by the way, who've never been checked, we're doing a 4-week challenge. So if you're a guest here and you want to actually get on board with it, we have a discounted rate for you guys. Normally to get examined is between $150 and $200. We're going to do it for you guys for $49. And that includes actually starting the challenge with you guys as well. So 4 weeks of classes and workshops and workouts and everything like that. I'll go through it all before we end. But where's Gabby? Does everyone know who Gabby is? We're going to say hi, Gabby. Hi, Gabby. She's the one that you'll see. When she's done recording this, she'll be up here to help you guys. She'll be at the first computer. Okay? I'm going to talk just a little bit about the chronic deficiencies I see. Now, I do not do workshops to sell supplements. That is not my goal, okay? However, there are very chronic deficiencies that we have. Oftentimes, especially in the beginning, you've got to work on getting those back into your system to get back to neutral. Especially with soil depletion and us not eating clean diets all the time, there's oftentimes chronic deficiencies that we got to work on balancing, okay? The first thing is balancing your fatty acid ratios. And one of the easiest ways to start working on this is to totally change the fats that you guys are eating. So if you guys look in here, we have a whole list of the things that you should be keeping in your pantry. And it has all the fats that you need to work on replacing. So one of the best ways is you've got to replace the bad fats with the good fats. I carried a fish oil for a long time. You guys have all heard of omega-3 fats, right? You guys have heard of omega-6 fats?
Yeah.
You guys know those two should be in balance in your system, right? Well, so about 2 years ago, we started doing blood work on patients. We have a whole like metabolics protocol. If we're working on nutrition with you and it doesn't work, we'll actually test your urine and your blood to make sure that you're actually getting nutrients in, and we'll find the problem. And so what happened was I started testing people, and one of the things that the test looks at is what your ratio of omega-6 fatty acids is to your omega-3 fatty acids. And after about 30 tests, I realized that no matter how healthy someone ate, I haven't tested one person who's had balanced omega-6 fatty acid ratios and omega-3 fatty acid ratios. The problem was all the omega-3 supplements that I used to have in my office had omega-6. It wasn't a lot. It was still the normal 4-to-1 ratio, or 2-to-1 ratio, 2 parts omega-6, 1 part omega-3. But what I found was that no one needed any more omega-6s than what they were actually getting in their diet because of bad fats and things that we're not even aware of that have high amounts of omega-6 in them. So I stopped carrying them. The omega-3 that we carry now it's an intensive formula. It's made by Maximize Living, the same company that we do all of our supplements through, but I don't even carry the other one that they offer, and they've discontinued it because no one is like sufficient in their omega-3 fatty acid ratios. So it contains all DHA and EPA. By the way, you want to talk about how often we see estrogen dominance. DHA and EPA, those specific types of fatty acids have been shown as well to lower estrogen, to keep it at normal balance levels. So if you're having problems with that, you got to start getting more healthy omegas in. A lot of you guys have asked, there's 2 supplements we have for adrenal problems. We have Adrenal Energy and Adrenal Calm. Adrenal Energy is the one that you use if you need like life support. Like if you have adrenal burnout, like if it's hard to wake up, hard to get through the day, and then you just fall asleep at the end of the day, like all you want to do is sleep, that's adrenal burnout. And so you need to shock your life. That's what Adrenal Energy is for. Adrenal Calm is the exact opposite of that. That's if you are wired and tired, where it's hard to wake up in the morning, and then you're sluggish around 1 or 2, but all of a sudden you get these bursts of energy and you just kind of like stop and keep going. That's where you need to actually calm your body down. You're over adapting to an adrenal fatigue state, and your body's just producing tons of neurotransmitters, so that it really helps to get them under control. Okay. The next thing, and I talked about vitamin D deficiency. Who doesn't take vitamin D? Everybody takes it. If you didn't raise your hand, everyone, myself included, we all need to take vitamin D for literally the rest of our life. Unless you spend 30 to 45 minutes outside in the sun with your top off all day. Because no, I'm not joking. You do not get vitamin D. It's not a suggestion. You do not get vitamin D from like your arms. The most vitamin D receptors you have are actually on your abdomen, in your midsection. And so it's not just like tanning your arms is going to give you tons of vitamin D. Literally 30 minutes of exposure in the sun is like 15 to 20,000 IUs of vitamin D. So if you're not getting regular sun exposure, if you're stuck inside and you take 1 or 2 vacations a year, you're going to be deficient in vitamin D. And deficiency in vitamin D doesn't just lead to hormone problems, testosterone problems, or estrogen issues. Chronic vitamin D deficiency, it increases your risk of 12 different types of cancer. If your vitamin D is below 30 nanograms per deciliter, you have an increased risk for all of those. And
high blood pressure too?
what?
Can it cause high
It can affect blood pressure, it affects your immune system. It's more than just like a vitamin, it's more of a hormone. It has a huge role in your immune system and your gastrointestinal health, all of those things. So yeah, absolutely. So if you don't have it, you have to get vitamin D up. Now again, the reason, if you guys have asked this before, all of our vitamin D has probiotics in it, is because for a lot of us, if we have excess amounts of sugar, especially in our diet, sugar will wreck your digestive system. And so if you're not working on getting healthy foods with, tons of probiotics, we have 10 times the amount of bacteria in our gut as we do cells in our body. So if we're not constantly putting in healthy live foods with tons of probiotics and flora, we're not going to absorb vitamin D properly, let alone all the other things that we're taking in, okay? So at the end of the day, if you need supplements, get them, but if you don't change the food you're eating, all you're doing is making expensive urine, okay? So you've got to make all the changes, all right? That fair? Okay, we have a bundle, I put everything together in it. On the very back of this for you guys, because I know we can't get to everyone sometimes. On the very back of this, if there are things you guys need, we made it really easy, so like while you're sitting there, you can jot them down. If you're a patient, you can pick them up the next time you come in, just drop this off. The workshops are the only time that we do a discount on our supplements. And we have a level 2 nutrition book in. So if you've done the advanced plan before, or it hasn't worked properly, there's a metabolics book that sits here. And it just came out a few months ago. And that's, if you want to go more in depth with nutrition and how to balance hormones, that's a great resource to have. We're just putting it in the bundle. If you get the bundle, the book's also included with it. Okay?
I have a question.
Yes.
I have a question. I'm
Yes.
confused about the
Which?
two different, adrenaline, the energy and the calm.
So adrenal energy is if you have like adrenal burnout. If you're constantly tired, that's when you actually like need to like just rebuild your adrenals. They're no longer trying to adapt. They're completely fatigued. That's adrenal energy. If you take adrenal calm, it's because you're wired and tired. Like you are like sluggish throughout the day, and then you can't sleep at night because your brain won't shut off. That's kind of the difference. That's the easiest way to tell.
What if you fluctuate between the two?
Then you probably want to do the adrenal energy, because it means you're on the verge of going into full on adrenal fatigue. Okay? We good? So I've got like the actual, this is your action plan for the different problems that are going on in here. So we gave this to you guys in a handout. You guys all have this. So the good thing is I don't believe that you need to write any of this down. Happy hormones protocols. You guys all have the sheet, right? So we'll go through it. Estrogen dominance. The first thing is you've got to get the good foods in your body to make healthy cells and make healthy hormones. So the challenge that we are doing with you guys for the next 4 weeks, and this is for everyone, is as an office we are going to be eating advanced plan. Those of you who do not know what advanced plan, just ask someone around you, and if they roll their eyes, then they'll know what advanced plan is. Advanced plan is just, it's not a diet. You can eat this way for the rest of your life, but really what it is made for is to reboot your hormones, reset your cortisol, insulin, and leptin levels, all the things that control how your body metabolizes and burns fat and carbohydrates. And basically, it'll help your body burn sugar more effectively, also recognize and burn fat more effectively. So we can turn your body into a fat burner as opposed to having it be a sugar burner. Okay, so it's all about increasing your healthy fats, decreasing your sugars, and getting clean proteins when you're on the advanced plan. In your life, avoid xenoestrogens. This requires research on your part. You've got to be aware of the things that you're putting on your skin and in your body, and the ones that have toxins in them, you got to work on reducing them. So again, you can look them up online. The best website I've seen to this date is EWGorg. I get $10 every time I say that. It's just a great, it's third party, so they change the website when products change as well, okay?
And it's a free download on the phone.
Yes, it's a free download on your phone, and they also have really good shopping guides for,
So they tell you not only what to stay away from, but what to
yes,
buy?
yes, exactly.
They rate them.
They rate them. There's a 0 to 10 rating scale, 0 being the most clean, 10 being like, it's really, really bad for you. And every product, most of the common ones that you'll get, and even the uncommon ones, will be rated on there. And the ratings will change when they come out with new product supplies. For example, 3 or 4 years ago, the lowest Old Spice product you could find was like a 7 out of 10 on their Richter scale. So 7 is red, like 7, 8, 9, 10, you don't want to have it. Now, like the same deodorant that I bought 4 years ago and didn't know is now a 3, so I went back to it. Because they changed the formulation, they changed the quality of the product, and I think that's an amazing thing. If we actually follow that, then hopefully companies will see that and start to, you know what I mean, make a change. Like, they're not going to change it unless you ask for it. If they can keep getting away with making cheap products and us buying them and having more problems, then they're going to keep doing it. But when we start demanding change, they'll see it through there. So the next thing is you've got to get more healthy fats in. So I recommend Pro Omegas, Vitamin D and probiotics. If you have chronic estrogen dominance and you have excess body fat and it just won't go away even if you've tried advanced plan in the past, you can ask me if you have questions, but using a supplement called acetyl L-carnitine will help. It's basically a fatty acid shuttle. When fats go to be burned, they're literally transported by carnitine, and so if you're deficient in carnitine, your body's not going to burn fat appropriately. When we do lab work on people, very often I'll see people are deficient in carnitine. Yes?
You mentioned these deficiencies.
Yep.
Do they show up, I mean, is there any way for me to know other
Yes.
than a blood
No.
work?
No.
Okay, so you have to have blood work.
You can either go by signs or symptoms,
Okay.
or lab work. There's no other thing in between that you can do.
Okay.
Yeah.
And do you
So
actually do the lab work right here? You take the blood and
yeah,
send
we
it
have a
out, or?
whole metabolics protocol. If we've sat down on nutrition with you, we probably talk about it. Typically, what we do is 8 weeks of changing your diet and your hormones, and if that doesn't work, even with the supplements we believe will work for you, then we do the lab work. And the lab work comes back and it basically tests everything from when you put a piece of food in your mouth to how it's digested, picked apart, and broken down. So it looks at mitochondrial function, gastrointestinal function, it looks for toxicity,
That's really interesting.
how well your liver can break it down. It's awesome, by the way. It's like the
How much
best. It's $349, the test. That's for the urinalysis. If we do the blood work with it as well, if you're really fatty acid deficient, the blood work as well is $149. Insurance does not cover those tests. They're considered preventative.
Can you just do the blood work?
You can just do the blood work, you can just do the urinalysis. It just depends on what you need.
So,
What?
I don't make.
You don't make urine, so you can only do the blood work, yes. No, yeah, you can do them independently of one another. Yep, yep. The name of the test, it's the same as this name of this book. It's called Metabolics, and it's done through Genova Diagnostics. And the tests are awesome because there's no guesswork anymore.
Right,
So if you guys have
exactly.
questions or want to do them, I can talk to you about them when you come in, for sure. Okay? Awesome. Anyone have any questions on estrogen dominance? Okay. Next one, testosterone. Low testosterone, the first thing is you've got to kick the sugar again. So it's the same diet for any of these hormone-based issues. It's advanced plan. Good clean fats, reducing your amount of sugars, and cleaning up the proteins that you're taking in. The next thing is, who's done Max T3 as we worked out here? Awesome, right? So what they've shown is that high-intensity workouts help to boost your testosterone. For guys, for men and women, after the age of 30, testosterone is no longer just a gift that your body gives you. You got to work for it to some extent, okay? And one of the best ways to naturally increase your testosterone is doing manly things, like high intensity, short duration, like you would think like a caveman would do, like I move rock and just like picks up a rock and throws it. That's high intensity. Short duration, you know what I'm talking about? But that makes you bruh. That's man, so, or woman. So you can move woman rocks too. But so what they show is that high intensity, short duration exercise, which we call Max T3, this is what we do in the office. But those workouts will really help to boost your free testosterone. You can boost your testosterone through working out. Why pay hundreds of dollars a month when you can do it on your own? You know what I mean? Over the next 4 weeks, so that being said, every Saturday, not in this office, we will be doing workouts. I've talked to the trainers of 3 gyms who have trained me in the past, and so we'll be doing a guest workout in 3 different places. So if you want to check somewhere out, it's a free pass. You can come in, I'll be there, and we'll do a workout together. On the 6th of August, which is next Saturday, we'll be working out and doing a CrossFit workout. You're not going to have to lift 500 pounds over your head and throw it through a wall. These are like good workouts that are going to help get you a good burn, but if you're afraid of CrossFit, it's not as bad as you would think. It's awesome. On the 13th, we're actually doing a race as an office. It's the Insane Inflatable 5K. And so we booked the 11:30 wave, which is nearly full. But if you want to do a 5K run with us, it's not going to be high intensity, it's just going to be fun. But that is the next Saturday. The Saturday after that is Title Boxing Club, which is right across the street here. Their trainers are awesome.
That
And
looks like fun.
it's a lot of fun, yes. It's a good workout too. And then the last one is T&J No Limit Fitness. Theo and Jerry are 2 of my best friends. They have done transformations with people that are awesome. And they're probably the closest, along with CrossFit, to the Tabata, the high intensity, short rest workouts that we do here. And so I wanted to give you guys a chance to sample everything that's out there. Normally we do the workouts in the office, but we'll be meeting there each of the next 4 Saturdays to do the workouts there, okay?
Is there a cost associated?
No cost. Come, enjoy it. Yep. But on your own, you also have to work out on your own, okay? You can't work out 1 day a week and see the changes through. You gotta put some effort into it. So if you're a patient here, you should have the Max T 3D DVD. Everyone got it when they started as a patient. If you're a guest and you want to get started, we can get you the resources today so you can get moving on those. But the workouts we have in there are 12-minute workouts. Dr. Fred Roberto is the one who developed that, and so I was at the seminar this weekend and we did the workouts there, and I work out a lot and they kick my butt. And in 12 minutes I can get an awesome workout in, because no one has time, I get it, but we all have time for 12 minutes. Like, you can do it before you go to bed, when you first wake up in the morning. It's easy and it totally gets you guys the results that you need, just because of the intensity of it. Low testosterone, there's a couple things you gotta focus on: getting healthy omegas, increasing your vitamin D levels, and there's another supplement that's on a couple of these called Max Fit. It's not that Max Fit's good, there's something inside of it called ashwagandha. If you have chronic stress and you're working on getting your stress down, ashwagandha is an herb that helps lower cortisol levels by like 25%. So if you have chronically high cortisol levels and you can't get them to lower, that's something great that can help to lower those cortisol levels and help kickstart you on getting your fat burn. And the last thing,
Will any of these you shouldn't take with other ones, or you can?
no, none of these have like an inhibition of, they don't, no.
Okay.
Yep. Last thing, I know this is it. Last thing is, and this is big for everyone, everybody listen up, sleep is mandatory for hormone repair. When we stress out and we don't sleep, there was a sleep study that was done that if you like lose sleep for 1 week, in guys, it can permanently lower your testosterone levels 10 to 15% if you get less than 5 hours a night on average. So if you're sleeping 4.5 hours, or you get 6 here and 4 there, you need 7 to 8 hours of sleep per night. You need to be laying down. It needs to be restful sleep as well. If you keep getting up throughout the middle of the night, like you're getting up 5-6 times to go to the bathroom or check the baby, that's why I'm so tired, you don't get good sleep. And I'm witness to that right now. I just have to deal with it, I guess, until he's older. But you've got to get good amounts of rest, okay? Not resting well is one of the fastest ways just to shut your body down, because you don't give it the time to repair, okay? Anyone have questions on testosterone? Anything, okay? These should all be in your guide as well.
I do real quick.
Yes.
What was the Max Fit product? Has what in it?
Ashwagandha.
Okay.
And you can find it elsewhere as well.
How do you spell that?
ASHWA. Anyone see it on there? GANDA.
I spell it.
Ashwagandha. Yes.
Cortisol levels being tested through the blood test or urine?
No, you have to do a specific hormone panel for it. Yeah. Thyroid protocol. One of the most important things with thyroid protocol is correction of the cervical curve. If you have neck problems, the nerves that come out of your neck go directly into your thyroid. So chronic neck issues, arthritis, degeneration will cause thyroid problems, as well as a whole host of other issues. You've got to work on getting that corrected. Advanced plan, very specific on advanced plan if you have thyroid problems, is get rid of gluten. When you have thyroid issues, your body will treat gluten as like an autoimmune disease if you eat a lot of it. So it'll make you flare up, it'll cause your hormones to become further imbalanced. Advanced plan in and of itself is gluten-free, but if you have thyroid problems, you've got to kick out all gluten. Whether you're allergic to it or not, it causes a lot of inflammation inside of the body. D3 and probiotics, you've got to get your D boosted up to help your immune system. Omegas, going through a detox is not a bad thing as well. Your thyroid, your liver get really burdened, especially if you have tons of xenoestrogens and chemicals that you're putting into your body, especially if you work in an environment where you get it, whether it's, you haven't taken care of yourself in a long time, your diet's not clean, you have chronic headaches or migraines or problems like that, you might want to work on actually detoxing and chelating some of those things out, okay? All right, any questions, thyroid protocol? Last one is adrenal fatigue. So the reason we adjust you, especially if you have adrenal burnout or adrenal fatigue, is anytime we adjust you, we reset that hypothalamic pituitary adrenal axis. We're basically helping to reboot your hormone system from the inside out. So it all starts with the brain when that comes. If you have adrenal fatigue, you've got to kick caffeine, okay? Won't be the end of the world. You'll go through a fatigue process, but the great thing is then you'll actually get to enjoy a cup of coffee after that instead of like crawling, relying on it. Like I see those shirts that say like, but first coffee, like where you're just non-functional. So getting yourself off of that for a period of time and then slowly reintroducing it if you want to with organic or clean coffee is really gonna help you. Advanced plan, the same thing, you gotta get rid of the sugar. Sugar lowers your immune system, it shoots your adrenal glands as well. You either need adrenal energy or calm depending on where you are, whether you're fatigued or totally burnt out. And then you gotta work on stress reduction. So wherever the stress is coming from, like, you gotta work on eliminating that. I know we can't all, if it's coming from your work, I know we can't all quit our jobs or fire our family or what have you, but the important thing is that again, the book I talked about in the beginning is whatever good or bad in your life is going on, you're the one who's responsible for it. And so you all have an ability to affect and change the things that are going on around you. So if you don't like what you're doing or who you're around, either help them get better or find people who help build you up and get you to become the best person that you are, okay? That's everything I wanted to go through, okay? Where's the grocery store tour sheet? Has everyone gotten a chance to look at that or sign up for it? And if not, you can get it all the way over here. You have a
Question, what is considered to be the midday reset? You have that on that last slide. Stress reduction, 8 hours of sleep, midday reset.
Take a nap.
Okay.
Yep.
Take a nap.
20 to 30 minute power nap.
20 to 30 minutes, that's all?
Power.
Okay.
Short duration, high intensity.
Okay.
High intensity nap. Yes.
Now, it's not happening, you're probably not, but.
No, I have not.
Okay.
Yep.
Don't go beyond 30 minutes, you'll enter a REM cycle and then it's all bad.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so this is, yes.
So on the very front, you've got, know your numbers, and before you start,
Yes.
obviously everybody could weigh themselves, but
Yes.
muscle mass.
So I'm going into it now. Okay. So we put those things together. So how do we actually put those things into action? Okay. On the front of this, we've set up a whole challenge for you guys over the next 4 weeks. Okay. And so if you want to get started and do the advanced plan, here are your action steps. They're all in the front right here. Read chapter 4 in the nutrition plans book. If you don't have one, we can show you one. To familiarize yourself with the advanced plan. In the green book, chapter 4 is the advanced plan. When you come in for appointments this week or the start of next week, if you're doing the challenge, we want to get some numbers so we can help you. So we'll weigh you in, and then we'll also do calipers to measure your muscle mass index or your body fat index, okay? We also are starting a Facebook group for support, okay? So at the front, there is a sign up. The sign up list is here. Put your name on there. If you're a patient, we have your email address. We'll invite you to the support group. If you are a guest, make sure that you write your email address on there. But basically, what we've created is a support group on Facebook. So, does everyone have Facebook?
Yes.
Does everyone? Okay. Okay, we'll find a way to get you. But that's good, actually. It's better that you don't have Facebook. You can call us if you need support. We'll call you for support. But we're going to have a Facebook group on there. So if you guys have questions, you guys can lend support to each other. I'll moderate and help out, and Aaron as well will be on there so we can help support you through this. But I think when you do it and you have a support group around you, it's so much easier, because cutting out sugar for 30 to 90 days is not easy, but it's totally doable. And if you have that support network around you, you'll do great. The Shop with the Doc tour is this Saturday. And then the local workouts begin next week. So the challenge will begin on Monday, August 1st. So we're doing this to give you ample time. So it starts in like 5 days from now. If you have questions and need help on how do I find this stuff in the store, how do I cook advanced plan, how do I eat that healthy food, join us for the Shop with the Doc this Saturday at 11:30 a.m. at Whole Foods. So we'll be going through everything there, teach you how to find everything, be able to answer all of your questions. It's a small group setting too, so anything you need help with will be there, okay? And we added in all these good food pyramid things just to kind of help you guys, to give you an idea of what you guys need to do to accomplish it, okay? So just imagine if, like, we all knew this like a long time ago. You know what I mean? Like, the things that drive me crazy are like 1 in 4 women between the ages of 40 and 60 in America is on an antidepressant due to chronic colon problems. Like 1 in 6 kids is on some type of medication, be it asthma or ADD or ADHD and all those things. And we have all these chronic issues. And if we just got down to the cause, we can help it so much. And so the goal with you guys doing this is so that you can actually empower people around you to get healthy as well. I think one of the most important things is that feeling you get when someone comes up to you and they're like, man, you're just like, you look like you take really good care of yourself. Like, you know, what do you do? Like, what have you changed in your life? I think being able to be cause for change in other people is so important. So I encourage you guys to get with us, do it with us. Okay, we'll have a lot of support for you guys. We're gonna end again. If you need to schedule an appointment, you can meet with Gabby. Supplements, Aaron and Tristan will have the baby as well if you haven't met the baby yet. And then I'll be up here for a little bit to answer any questions you guys have. Okay, remember who you guys are. Okay, thank you guys.